We do begin with breaking news. Top state and city officials set to hold a news conference at any moment now about planned protests this weekend against the Trump administration's actions. Governor Bob Ferguson, as you see right there, and Mayor Bruce Harrell among those expected to speak. Now, as soon as this news conference gets underway, we'll bring it to you live. It looks like it's about to start at any moment as people get into place. Looks like we're about 2 minutes away. We'll get to that in just a moment. Dozens of protests against the Trump administration's actions are planned across our state tomorrow. Some of the biggest of the demonstrations organizers call No King's Day will happen in Seattle. KOMO's Theron has those details.
Cities across our state are preparing in case anti-Trump protests get out of hand. Even state agencies are getting ready. Saturday is expected to be a day of protest across our state as at least 80 rallies against actions taken by the Trump administration are planned. Governor Bob Ferguson says emergency officials have a plan in case there's unrest, including the National Guard if necessary, but is urging protesters to stay peaceful. Some business owners worry about another round of damage, like what was seen Wednesday night in Seattle. They want people to speak out, but not in a destructive way.
Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, whether you're left or right. We have to somehow meet in the middle and make it work.
Some of the protests scheduled for Saturday in Western Washington include Cal Anderson Park in Seattle, Red Square on the University of Washington campus, People's Park in Tacoma, and at the Bainbridge Ferry Terminal on Bainbridge Island. We talked to someone who plans to be at one of the protests in Seattle.
We want it to be peaceful. We want to get out there in big numbers. We want to save our democracy.
Adding another wild card to all of this, there's going to be a major closure on 405, putting a lot of extra traffic on I-5 through downtown Seattle. That means along with the protests, there's likely to be jammed up traffic. Reporting in Seattle, Theron Zahn, KOMO News.
The protest plan in the University of Washington will happen at the same time as commencement ceremonies for graduating seniors. Top state and city officials holding a news conference right now in Seattle about those planned protests this weekend against the Trump administration's actions. We want to take you there live. We're hearing right now from Governor Bob Ferguson.
You'll be hearing from United States Representative Pramila Jayapal, King County Executive Shannon Braddock, Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell, Tacoma Mayor Victoria Woodards, UFCW 3000 President Faye Gunther, and King County Council Chair Gurmai Satilai. And then we're happy to take any questions that you have. President Trump's activation of the California National Guard over the objection of their governor is deeply disturbing. We're all watching these events very carefully and other events across our country. Washington has joined in support of California's lawsuit challenging the president's actions. We want Washingtonians to know that we are working hard and coordinating closely to ensure that our state is prepared. I'm here today with my fellow elected officials and community leaders to ask the people of Washington state to join us in protecting our state by ensuring that demonstrations over the weekend are peaceful. I support, to put it mildly, the right of people to have their voices heard. I have, like I suspect the people behind me, attended many protests myself. In times like this, it is not just a right that people have to express their opinions about their government. In my view, it's their duty. It's that important. Speaking out against a chaotic administration that repeatedly violates the law is critical to our democracy. But we, of course, must do that peacefully and lawfully. Here's the way I look at it. Don't give Donald Trump an excuse to try to federalize the National Guard here in Washington state like he did in California. He wants to be able to say we cannot handle our own public safety issues here in Washington state. I want to emphasize I've been in very close communication with leaders across our state, city, county leaders, our National Guard, General Welsh, Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown. We've had many meetings over the past few days to make sure that we are as coordinated as we can possibly be in preparation for what will obviously be a day of protest all across our country. If there is violence, our law enforcement officers are prepared to handle it. That's what they're trained for. We do not need or want the president to interfere with our state. A federal court yesterday, as you saw, ruled that President Trump illegally federalized the National Guard in California. A Ninth Circuit appellate court stayed that decision. Obviously, that case is ongoing. I'm happy to take questions about that as well. But Washington will be prepared if Donald Trump attempts a similar stunt in Washington state. So let's work together as a state, as a people, to not give Donald Trump what he wants. We are strongly encouraging all Washingtonians who plan to demonstrate to follow law and keep your protests peaceful. With that, I want to turn to our speakers. I just deeply appreciate they're all extremely busy, especially these days, but we just really wanted to come together to communicate to the people about the situation, about our preparations, and just really appreciate their strong leadership during these times. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Governor Ferguson, for bringing us together today and ensuring that we are all coordinated and ready for what may come our way. It's been 143 days since Donald Trump took office, and as of last night, we have a new war abroad and an increasingly authoritarian government in Washington, D.C. that has launched mass deportations, snatching and disappearing people off the streets without due process, and ICE raids that have swept up thousands of immigrants of all legal statuses across the country, including in California and here at home. This is psychological terror that's being inflicted on our families and our communities, and a suppression of any dissent that is a terrifying descent into the beginnings of authoritarianism. We in Congress appropriate funds for the Department of Homeland Security. We have statutory oversight authority and responsibility for what the federal government does, including ICE. And yet the Trump administration has already indicted one of my colleagues, Representative LaMonica McIver, simply for doing her job and conducting an inspection of an ICE facility. And then yesterday, an absolutely horrifying scene for all of us across the Capitol and across the country in Los Angeles, when Senator Alex Padilla, the top Democrat on the Immigration Subcommittee in the Senate, my counterpart, was assaulted, forced to the ground, and handcuffed, a U.S. senator, just as he was asking a question of Secretary Noem. As a very proud naturalized citizen myself, and as the top Democrat on the House Immigration Subcommittee, I deeply understand why people are terrified and furious, both about what is happening right now. And I believe we must continue to stand together and to push back peacefully. This right to peaceful protest is fundamental to American democracy, and it's actually how many of the great battles for justice in our country have been fought and won over history. And I'm proud to live in a state with these elected leaders where that right is respected and where we have shown time and time again that we know how to nonviolently, peacefully protest, placing our hands on that moral arc of the universe and pushing it more quickly towards justice. I'm proud myself, both prior to Congress as well as in Congress, with the late, great civil rights hero, Representative John Lewis, to have been engaged in those nonviolent civil disobedience protests. From our history and from around the world, what we know is that nonviolent resistance is actually twice as likely to succeed and in achieving its goals and to be sustained over time. So, as the Trump administration tries its intimidation tactics on us, I urge people to continue your peaceful protests and build our movement of peaceful nonviolent resistance. Let us be smart. The Trump administration is going to continue escalating, going to continue to deploy the military against our own citizens as they did in California. They want us to be afraid and to not come out. They want us to provoke violence. They want a confrontation. They want sensational scenes on television, even if it's just AI created. They want the American people to be afraid so that we don't notice that they're stealing our health care and dramatically increasing the funding for an already out-of-control Department of Homeland Security. They want outside agitators and perhaps planted provocateurs to come in and incite us to their kind of violence. We cannot fall into that trap. Our governor, our mayor, our elected officials are organized. All of us are coordinating. We are ready to protect any peaceful protesters and to make sure that violence is not part of our streets. Let's not let them win. Let's meet their hate and their violence with our peace. Let's make sure that the American public sees clearly who they are and what they're doing. While they are promoting an authoritarian, militarized state, let's show them what peaceful protest, justice, and democracy really look like. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. I'm King County Executive Shannon Braddock, and I want to take a moment to particularly thank Governor Ferguson for bringing us together and to thank our federal delegation in King County for all of the work that they are doing to fight against these overreaches from this federal administration. This administration has shown time and again that they will federally overreach, they will violate the law in attempts to usurp local control. King County continues to resist the unlawful and unconstitutional actions of the Trump administration, and we will protect our residents, and we will support and champion the constitutional right to protest freely and peacefully without interference. But as I need to reiterate, those rights do not extend to acts of violence. We can fight for our convictions and push back against the actions that threaten the values that define our region while following the law and keeping people safe. In King County, our Sheriff's Office follows state and local laws under the Keep Washington Working Act. And King County is indeed resisting all attempts to undermine our democracy and the laws outlined in the Constitution. So, to all of those planning to demonstrate this weekend, we encourage you to raise your voice against that which you do not agree with and support those who are being wronged. But do not take the bait and confuse destruction for defense. We can defend our rights and our values, and we can defend our Constitution and our democracy without destruction and violence. Let's raise our voices loudly. Let's keep our communities safe, and let's be a model for the nation as we protest peacefully and resist this federal overreach. Thank you.
The Trump administration commandeering of the National Guard, the deployment of U.S. Marines against residents, the weaponization of immigration enforcement is an egregious overreach of federal power. And you've heard that term said, overreach, by a few of my colleagues. I want to thank the governor for what I'll call the 3 C's: communication with both the federal government and our great leadership under our Congresswoman Jayapal, the federal branch, the county branch, the state branch, all of the cities, constant communication, which is critical during these times where we have to think tactically about how to address a situation like this. Collaborating amongst ourselves, communicating. I always tell my team, you can't over-communicate in situations like this. We continue to be unwavering in our support of our immigrant and refugee communities who are an essential part of our city, past and present. And I want to recognize our strong labor partners here that are leading us and partnering with us in this work. Thank you for being here. We are aware of rumors and media reports about tactical ICE teams being deployed in Seattle, but to be clear, as I think we've been on many occasions, the city does not coordinate with ICE, and we do not receive notification from ICE or the Department of Homeland Security about special tactical teams. We have to base our tactical preparations on rumors, so we don't have that line of communication, which would be ideal. I believe that a federal government actually has a sacred pact with cities and people. I don't know how you pull away health funds, public safety funds, cancer research funds. Violence and destruction only gives Trump what he wants, a spectacle that justifies his brazen use of force. So the city of Seattle and the Seattle Police Department are closely coordinating with our state partners on preparations for this weekend's demonstration so people can express their First Amendment rights safely. We will be activating our emergency operations center so all departments are coordinated on their response. But I close again by thanking our governor for his leadership, for coordinating with all of us. I've been in office for a few years now, and I have to tell you, this level of coordination, I haven't quite seen it this heightened in a situation like this.
All right, we are just listening in to a press conference from elected officials this morning. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell speaking out. We just heard from Governor Ferguson as well as Representative Pramila Jayapal and the county executive about planned protests for tomorrow and the city and state response to that. We'll keep listening in. Any more information, we'll bring that